On today's DNVR Broncos podcast, we are talking about the fourth training camp practice. Broncos just wrapped up their first week of training camp. We were there for all of it. And two players in the defensive backfield really balled today. We're going to talk about it starting now. First week of training camp is in the books, so we brought in the big guns. Henry Chisholm, Bennie Fowler, and you hear behind the camera, Zach Stevens rocking and rolling with you inside the Toyota Lounge, driven by your local Front Range Toyota stores. We are in the DNVR bar. Fellas, we made it. Well, through the first week.
Yeah, I mean, no pads on yet, but it is a start. It was good to be out there yesterday. I know you guys were out there. It's great to see you guys out there, so it was exciting.
You're a big dog out there, man.
I mean, when you do win the Super Bowl, it does help. And I treat everybody with respect.
You do.
So the staff
Only on camera. Off camera, you're a total a-hole.
Am I?
Yeah.
No, I love the fact that they treat me well. It means a lot just coming back and being on the practice field, and I don't necessarily have to wear credentials.
It's very true. People know who you are. They don't need a little name tag. Who is that? Okay, he's allowed here. No, Bennie. I mean, it's because of the person you are. I mean, what you did on the field, but then also probably even more so what you've done off the field in terms of just being an awesome person. And that's why I just love being around you and having this show with you. So Bennie was out there, Henry was out there, and it's been a good first week. And a lot that we've learned. But before we get too big picture, let's talk about today. Henry, you here? Dial it up. What's the biggest takeaway from today?
Oh, I had one. And then I forgot.
So then I'll jump in right here because unfortunately, we got our first injury of training camp today. And you hate to see this. It's probably going to happen at some point. You're going to get an injury. It happened today. To Drew Sanders. He was carted off the field, and then I saw him later get into a car just a little bit after wearing a boot, and I think he was going directly to get an MRI. After practice, there was a little bit of good news, I think. Sean Payton said it is not his Achilles, because, of course, that's the injury that he was dealing with last year and came back from. Sean said it's not an Achilles, but outside of that, we don't know. We don't know if it's a big deal, a small deal, so we hope that Drew is going to be okay, because, man, I can't imagine, Bennie, maybe you can speak to this, but I can't imagine coming back and rehabbing through a almost year-long injury and then getting injured in a different way.
Yeah, I think that's one of the toughest things about playing professional sports or playing in the NFL especially. We saw Tim Patrick actually go through this with the ACL and then having his Achilles done. So it is tough. If it's not an Achilles, then hopefully it's just maybe a calf strain or something not too crazy. But also it's early in training camp, so I think that's also a very important thing. It's like, can he just rehab the rest of training camp and be ready for the season? So hopefully it's nothing too crazy, but I'd rather have injuries early in training camp than later in training camp right before the season.
Silver lining, I like it.
Yeah. I think that's the big takeaway. The other one. There are so many linebackers who are playing really good football right now. Like, you go through, like, obviously, Alex is Alex. Dre is Dre. Like, you trust those guys. Drew Sanders looked good. Justin Strnad was everywhere again today. You had...
I would honestly, going through that, I would honestly say Justin Strnad is Justin Strnad. I think he's going to earn that designation.
Totally. And he looks fast out there, like, getting to screens, getting to all sorts of different stuff. And then you go down to, like I said, Drew looked good before the injury. Lavelle Bailey had another pass breakup today, broke up a pass yesterday, had the interception yesterday. He's been everywhere, made the team as an undrafted free agent last year for 24 hours because of all the things he was doing in coverage, including the 94-yard interception touchdown in the preseason last year. And then you get down to Kareem Reed, the undrafted rookie out of Utah, who I think it was 3 straight plays is just blowing plays up in the backfield. And you're just like, well, what are you going to do? Like, there are too many good football players here. And beyond that, there are even more guys who are out there making plays.
Well, there's getting ready to be some separation with that. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, Zach, but there's getting ready to be some separation with that. I loved what I saw yesterday in terms of practice, but also now I can talk to Broncos country about there is no pads on yet.
Totally.
So everybody looks fast. Everybody's blowing plays up. There's, defensive players talking about they got a sack or they, would have been a strip sack. All that will stop next week when there are pads on. There can, it's just a lot more physical. So I love what I saw from the defensive side of the ball. I love what I saw from the offensive side of the ball, but I think things will ratchet it up a little bit more because now we are putting on real actual pads, and now it becomes real football. We don't play football in shorts. And in a couple weeks when we're starting preseason games, it will be live action. I think Sean will go live next week. I think he does that in training camp for at least 1 or 2 days where you will tackle and bring guys to the ground. So next week during practice, I think we will see more, and I think we'll have more of a glimpse of that linebacker room, the receivers, the running backs, the offensive line versus defensive line when there are pads on.
Dre Greenlaw.
Yeah.
Can you tell him that pads weren't on yet, so they weren't tackling? He took Marvin Mims to the ground today, and I felt so bad for Marvin because Dre was just like, I'm deciding it's real football now, and just slammed him to the ground, and Marvin, I don't think was too happy about that, and that's what Dre Greenlaw brings, man. He's going to bring that intensity, from what I understand. You know better than me, but he's going to bring that every single day, and you can tell that the defense is ready to hit.
He's ready to hit. The defense is ready to hit. Defensive guys don't always have the best the best brain cells. Me being an offensive guy, but that is what Dre brings to this team. That physicality, that toughness. He doesn't have that on-off switch. When he puts his helmet on, that's one of the reasons why they held him out of OTAs, I believe. I believe that the injury wasn't that serious. Yeah. But you hold a guy like that off because he only knows one speed. And he brought Marvin to the ground. Marvin, you're a little upset, but hey, bro, you're in year 3. Dre's going to get his reps. If he's out there, he's playing football, and that's what type of energy that he brings, and that's the type of physicality that we are going to see. And we're really going to see that next week. There will be some fights. That's just that type of energy that he's going to bring. Wait till San Francisco when he goes back to have the joint practices against his former team, because I doubt that he'll play in that preseason game. He might play a few snaps. Yeah. But during practice, watch out.
Oh, my goodness. That's going to be crazy.
Christian McCaffrey won't get reps if Greenlaw's out there.
As he probably
They won't do that.
Did you hear what Talanoa Hufanga said on the podium after practice yesterday?
No, what did he say?
He said, I have a message for Trent Williams. I'm going to fight you in the joint practice. And he said, actually, no, that's probably the last person that you want to fight.
Yeah, you should leave that. You should leave that one alone. I love Talanoa Hufanga and his mindset and what he's going to bring, but let's leave the silverback alone.
Leave him alone. I forget how they broke down the reps for the starters in the preseason last year. Did they play in all 3 games?
Well, because you had Bo. I don't remember if Bo played in the 3rd game. I don't think so. I don't think they're going to play in the 3rd game.
Yeah.
I know they'll get a couple series in game 1, and then game 2, you'll play a quarter and a half. Yeah. Maybe two quarters, and then preseason 3 now because there's no 4th game. It's more so for the young guys. But, yeah, Sean's going to want to see a lot out of our group. And then Bo going into year 2, you can already tell the attention to detail that I saw yesterday. He was upset about the receivers and the way they got out the huddle. He was not happy about that. He wants things more crisp, and he expects a lot out of this offense this year.
100%. We're going to hear from Bo on this show. Since we're talking about the depth, I'm going to do a little buy or sell with you guys. Are you buying what Brandon Jones is saying, or are you selling it? And Henry, it goes to something you just talked about. After practice, we talked to Brandon Jones, and he said he went out of his way to say this is the deepest team he's ever played on, and said that makes us scary. Do you buy that this is that deep of a team?
Well, you have to remember he played for the Dolphins before.
Yep.
I would buy it.
Dolphins who made the playoffs.
They have made the playoffs, but I don't look back and say like, that's impossible depth to beat. This Broncos team is certainly deeper than the Broncos last year when he was on the team. So I would say, yeah, it absolutely should be. I mean, you took last year's team, lost almost nobody, and then added a couple more guys to the top.
Has Brandon only played in Miami?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm selling that, and don't get me wrong, I love the confidence, and I love this is definitely the deepest Bronco team that we've had in the last couple of years. But by no means we have a lot of talent. Depth means that if receiver 1 goes down, receiver 2 can step into receiver 1 and nothing drops off. I don't know if we're there yet. If Courtland goes down, God forbid, we need to find another number 1. And we would probably go to free agency for that, or whoever's left out there. So we're deep in terms of talent and young talent. In 2 years from now, I can see that really being true because we have so many players on rookie deals. But to say that, this is the deepest team he's been on and that you played in Miami, no. The deepest team that I have ever seen here was my rookie year where we had 14 Pro Bowlers. That's a deep team.
That's insane.
That's a deep team. And then we win the Super Bowl the next year. That's a deep team.
14 Pro Bowlers is silly.
So
oh my
I would add that. So if you lose Court, you have a big hole. If you lose Evan Ingram, you have a big hole. There are other spots. Like if you lose wide receiver 2, I don't think there's a drop off.
Nope.
Like I think you lose wide receiver. I think if you lose like tight end 2, like it might not be depth in terms of there's a bunch of like stars who are rotating in. Maybe it's spots like if Jaquan's coming off the bench, if PJ's coming off the bench, and that secondary feel good. I think there is some depth there, but there are certainly spots where there isn't.
I think our depth is incredible defensively.
Okay. Yeah.
Where you can plug and play. If somebody misses 3 weeks, there's no drop off.
Yep.
We slide from the first ranked defense to the second ranked defense or back to number 1.
Yeah.
Offensively, we're not there yet.
I agree.
We are trending upwards. But defensively, we can plug and play. Guys can come in, guys can come out. Drew Sanders, for example, that's a big blow because you don't want to see somebody like that.
Totally.
In terms of the injury. But will we miss a beat in terms of how fast we fly around and where we're going defensively? Absolutely not.
Like his role this year, if he had one, or hopefully it's a minor injury, and he still will be back in a week or two, whatever it may be. But his role was going to be competing for third down snaps.
Yep.
Like one of those guys who can rush, who can drop back, who can be kind of that chess piece. You have PJ Locke, you have Jaquan, you have a bunch of guys who have that particular skill set. Maybe not the size, which makes him unique, and maybe he wins out because of that. But like we said, like there's so many linebackers on this team who you want to see on the field.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, or no disrespect to Drew, it isn't a huge difference, probably, assuming you don't have a bunch of other injuries.
Yeah.
Really quick, speaking of that depth, I'm going to talk about my biggest takeaway, which has to do with depth at a position we haven't talked about yet today. It is on the defensive side, and it's at the cornerback spot. Guys, to me, the two standouts of camp today, Riley Moss and Chris Abrams-Drain. Both of these guys balled out, and Chris could have balled out so much more. Bennie, a pick hit his stomach. Bo Nix threw the ball, and it hit him right in the numbers and just bounced off. Bo and Devon Vele had a little miscommunication. Vele turned one way. Bo clearly thought he was going to turn the other way, so he threw the ball to the right. Vele went to the left, and Chris was just right there. So it went through where Vele would have been, hit him. He wasn't able to catch it, but then he had a really good pass breakup later in practice. And Riley Moss I think he had 2 really good pass breakups today. And so Riley's saying, okay, fine, Broncos, you're going to draft a young guy in the first round. I'm not backing down. And then after practice, we actually heard Sean. Do we have the clip from Sean talking about Riley? Here's what Sean had to say about Riley. And I think that Sean, even though they used a first-round pick on Jahdae Barron, I think Sean still loves Riley. Let's hear it.
He had a good season last year. And so, look, he's sticky. Obviously, he's going to get a lot of traffic and a lot of balls thrown his way. I like his length and his ability to mirror and shadow. He's a good tackler. He does a lot of things well. So he's come back in real good shape. And, you know, last year, I think we saw it in training camp last year.
Is there a certain mentality you've got to have?
I love what Sean's saying right there. And I do agree with you. I think competition in a particular room, I mean, we're seeing this in the running back room, but in the DB room as well. When you draft Jahdae Barron in the first round as a guy who can play inside and outside, that is I wouldn't say it's a red flag to Riley Moss, but it's like, hey, like we need more and we need better, because obviously PS2 has got the other side of the field shut down. And I love what I saw from him. I love the swagger I saw from him yesterday in practice. And I think when you think back to the no-fly zone and how incredibly talented that secondary was, you drafted Bradley Roby in the first round that year, or in 2014. And then you have Chris Harris Jr., and then you have Aqib Talib. Do we have I don't know if it's a no-fly zone 2.0 because of the way we play defense, the way and how we rush the passer and man-to-man. But talking to Vance Joseph after practice yesterday, he talked about how versatile they were and how they are going to be able to do so many different things defensively, whether it's blitzing, whether it's disguising different coverage, sending different guys just because of how diverse this secondary is. And I think Riley coming into camp in shape like he is only allows your defense to do that much more. I would love to see more man from our defense. If Jahdae Barron can pick things up, if we could play a little bit more man, Nick Bonito, Jonathan Franklin-Myers, Jonathan Cooper, like what these guys are going to do and the way they'll be able to get after the passer because of how many people we can bring on a blitz is just going to make our defense take that next step and really score points. I want our defense to get more points on the board. You know, when you think about an incredible defense, they're taking the ball away, but they're also putting it in the end zone themselves.
And that's what I think about the Super Bowl 50 defense. It's not just a great defense, not just Vaughn and DeMarcus Ware and great defensive line and great linebackers in the no-fly zone, but it was the ability to make game-changing plays, which is sacks at the end of a game that turn out to be strip sacks, or sacks in Super Bowls that are strip sacks that Malik Jackson picks up for a touchdown and
100%.
scoring points. A keep to leave, taking it back to the house. You mentioned a conversation with Vance Joseph. I want to hear a little bit more about that. And before we go further in the show, I want to give a shout out to our friends over at Game Time, because we are getting so close to the start of the season. What do we say? It's now 40 or 37 days from the start? Yeah, it's RJ Harvey days from the start of the season. And if you are going to go to any game, make sure to use Game Time because they've got the all-in pricing. It's the best place to get tickets on the secondary market. And use the code DNVR because you're going to get $20 off your first purchase over at Game Time. And let's say you want to go to a Rockies game, be like Hank, maybe see him there. Go to Game Time because Game Time's got the best prices for Rockies games, Nuggets games, Avs games, Broncos games, and of course any concerts that you're going to go to. Game Time is going to hook it up for you. So make sure to use that code DNVR when you download the Game Time app to get in literally any concert ticket you want, any sporting event you want. Game Time.
Yep. Also Coors Light. We love Coors Lights here. Like Zach just said, I spend a lot of time at Coors Field. Unfortunately, my Rocky season is over because it's football season, but I was able to get to like 20 games. Coors Light makes baseball a lot better. Also, 37 days till football. That will certainly be Coors Light season because Coors Light also goes very well with football. Also, Benny, I was curious, best 37 you ever played with? I'll give you a second because that's a tough number.
Best 37. I mean, 37, that was Lorenzo Doss.
That was.
Oh, speaking of big plays, he was Mr. Pick Six in practice.
Yes, he was. Doss, what a great human. Best 37 I played with. I mean, he'd have to be the best one.
Yeah.
37 at Michigan State was Ross Weaver, incredible athlete. Went to Southfield High, was incredible 100-meter runner, 200-meter runner, great guy.
How do you know that about? That's incredible knowledge just about a random dude.
Well, he was a senior.
Dude,
he was a senior when I was a freshman. He was like, you walk into when you go into college, like these are grown men.
Yeah,
he looked like a man. So that's only 37 that I really remember. Him and Lorenzo Doss. So shout out to Lorenzo Doss and Ross Weaver.
Yep.
37 days till football. That's when you want to drink your Coors Lights. Also, all the way down.
The best 37 I've seen is RJ Harvey.
Oh, I like it. I like it.
I saw him go through drills yesterday, and he's by far got the fastest feet and the quickest feet out there.
Yeah.
Make the most out of the times you choose to chill. Choose Coors Light. Get Coors Light delivered straight to your door. Visit CoorsLight.com/DNVR. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado beer.
All right, so before we get to Benny's conversation with Vance Joseph, let's see how Bo's doing. How's it Boing, as some people in the Toyota chat have dropped there. Henry, how was Bo today?
Yeah, well, I think we didn't talk about the throw yesterday that could have been picked off by Drew Sanders.
Yep,
that's
true.
The first thing that I realized when we left. We missed that, so we got to hit that one before we get to today. Just like crossing route, Pat Bryant.
That was a ballsy throw.
Ballsy throw.
That was a ballsy throw.
I'm glad you're here because I'm curious what you thought. Because I had a bunch of thoughts where it's like, maybe he didn't see him. I don't think that's the case.
Yeah.
I wonder if he was just thinking like, get it just over Drew's fingertips and see if Pat has a play on it.
Yeah.
Like, I wonder what was going through his head. Or if he saw him late and was just like, they just sailed it last second to try to get it clear.
You know what? When I saw the play, number one, I think, we both saw it. Ballsy throw.
Ballsy.
Bo was rolling out to the right, scrambling out to the right. Pat Bryant's coming on the backside on an over route, 10 to 12 yard over route. Bo looks at his first and second progression to the right and then throws back across the field. Number one, you're not supposed to do that.
Nope.
Number two, Bo has this type of playmaking ability, and we saw it throughout the season last year as a rookie where he will take chances because he is a confident player and a confident quarterback. So I liked it. And Pat made the play. But a lot of throws are almost intercepted or, that's just kind of how it is. Tight coverage.
Remember there was the primetime throw to Marvin Mims, or just over the guy's fingertips and he catches it. It's a great throw.
Yeah.
It's just inches away from danger, which is why it's so great.
One of the things that one of my coaches talked about when I first actually got into the NFL, what he talked about, he said in college, this is open. This is open in college. In the NFL, this is open.
Yep.
So you only need a little bit of separation, and Bo made a ballsy throw, and it was exciting to see. I know the crowd liked it as well. So.
It was the throw a camp from him so far.
Yep.
By far. Today was I'd say worksmanlike from Bo.
Yep.
They were doing red zone. So a lot of work in tight windows. So you saw Bo complete a lot of short passes, which is good. Like I said, the only bad play and only play that could have been in danger was the one where there was a miscommunication with Vele. You probably would have been able to decipher if it was Bo's fault or Vele's fault.
It's always the receiver's fault.
Okay, it was then Bo had a good day.
Yeah,
not an incredible
always
day,
the receiver's fault.
But a pretty good day. He threw it in red zone. He threw a touchdown pass to RJ, number 37, Harvey, coming out of the backfield. And just a lot of short passes. They were also working on screens, so a lot of passes behind the line of scrimmage there. And outside of that miscommunication, a sharp play from Bo. I mentioned Chris Abrams-Drain having a really good play. So Bo, again, from like the 10-yard line, it was fade to Pat Bryant on the left side, and it was one-on-one with Chris Abrams-Drain. Bo drops back, throws it right away. Pretty good fade ball. Pat,
best throw of the day.
Pat
I think.
catches it with two hands, comes down with it, and as he's coming down with it, he brings the ball down with him, and right before he's able to establish that it's a touchdown, Chris Abrams-Drain just sees the ball right there, boom, smacks it out of his hands. No touchdown. Great play by Chris Abrams-Drain. That honestly might have been what would have taken Bo's day to the next level if he would have had multiple touchdowns there. That's honestly the first negative to say about Pat Bryant because, and I'm going to get your opinions on Pat Bryant because he's really impressed me. But that was probably just the low point of his camp so far because, man, it was a touchdown.
I think that was a welcome to the NFL moment for Pat Bryant. You
just
you get away
move.
with that. Yeah, you get away with that in the NFL, or you think because it's practice that the DB isn't going to knock it out. But no, this is super competitive out here. Everybody's fighting for a job. Pat Bryant, you are fighting to get more reps and get playing time and more reps with Bo. So, yeah, I don't expect if that were to happen tomorrow out in practice, or not tomorrow, but Monday out in practice, I bet Pat, catches the ball and takes it away.
Yeah.
But, that's one of those you live and you learn. I'd rather have that day 4 of training camp than preseason games or games during the season. So
totally.
Good for him to learn that right now.
Yeah, and to me, that's a throw of the day from Bo. You got two guys jumping up like this, Chris Abrams-Drain right in front of Pat Bryant, right over the fingertips like we talked about. Catch it. You did the hard part. It just keep the ball away.
100%.
The fact that he had time to turn all the way around and you still had the ball right where he could knock it away, just can't have it, but it's a rookie, so it's no big deal. Because he had him beat. He beat Chris. I think the other one, side of the end zone with Riley, where, again, Riley's a really good cornerback. He's sticky. He just isn't the longest guy. He isn't the tallest. His arms are a little bit shorter. And so when it comes time to knock the ball away, that's just not a strength of his. And so he has the smothering coverage on Pat on the side of the end zone. And I forget who the quarterback is, but just gets a ball ripped right in there. Pat's able to get a hand on it. Kind of looks like he's going to catch it. Just can't hold on. Again, you can't expect somebody to make the play.
That was Bo. And it was Chris in coverage too.
I think that one was Riley, wasn't it?
Maybe we're thinking of different ones.
I think we are. Yeah, but he almost had it right there. And so you could see those where it's just it's almost there. But he did have another out route today, 15 yards downfield against Damari Mathis. You're okay, there's something. But he just seems so close to making these plays, and hopefully they get there.
Before we talk about the receivers and really pick Benny's brain about the receivers. Let's just wrap up on Bo really quick, because Bo talked to the media for the first time in training camp after practice today. We know that Sean dropped the info earlier this week that he and Drew Brees met for nearly a week. Benny, what's your first impression and thought when you hear that Bo went and saw Drew Brees in San Diego for 4 or 5 days?
I think he's been watching the pod. I think, when I first joined, we talked about, if I'm Bo, or if I feel like I know who Bo is just from seeing him and the way he operates, he's probably going to reach out to Drew and he's going to get connected there because of this offense. What it means to me when I hear that Bo goes down to visit Drew Brees is that now he gets the little intricacies of this offense, how Sean works. What's it like? What's it like to have this install? What is he thinking? What was Drew thinking playing with Sean in year 1, going into year 2? What are the little things that you want your receivers? What are these indicator steps that you want your receivers to know? Now it's starting. You see, yesterday when I saw practice, I saw Bo communicating a lot. But now you have this inside knowledge, this insider knowledge that Drew can give you because he played this position and for this coach. And the quarterback's coach, Pete Carmichael, and there's
Joe Lombardi.
Yeah. So Drew knows those guys, all 3 of those guys, really well. He can give Bo that insider knowledge, the way that he should prepare, the way that Sean watches tape, and that how he used to watch tape, to relay different messages to Sean and what he likes and what he doesn't like. And then I bet you they went on the field. And Drew is very process oriented. And I bet you're not going to give. Bo is not going to follow Drew's process to a T, but he is going to take little things and add it into his process, the way he now watches film, the way he will now communicate with Sean. That is going to help him take even more of a step from year 1 to year 2. And what I love so much about him going to visit Drew Brees is that he can do this year after year.
Oh, yep.
Because offense isn't going anywhere. As long as Sean is here, he can have that relationship in terms of, okay, now what does it look like to go and progress in this offense from year 2 to year 3? The motions, the cadence, in and out of the huddle, the timing, the footwork. This is what Broncos country should be excited about. So I love the fact that he spent 5 days. He didn't go down there for 2 days.
Yep.
He was there for a week. Diet. How to talk to your receivers.
Yep.
How to talk to your tight ends. These are the little things.
How to talk to Sean.
Yeah, these are the little things. And this is one of the things that I got a chance to learn when I played, and I learned from a Demaryius Thomas, who had already played in the offense. So I'm a bigger receiver. Well, I can just follow DT. He's played in this offense for 2 years already. So I can come up to speed even quicker. So that learning curve, now you got the learning curve from Sean, and now you have a learning curve from Drew Brees. Yeah. Now he can text Drew, hey, what do you think about this? What do you think about my footwork here? So I love it.
And I love that. And we were able to ask Bo about that today. Let's hear what Bo said about his week-long visit with Drew Brees.
Anytime you can spend some time with a guy like that, with that experience and just that mind and the knowledge of the game and just his routine and what he was able to do, and more than anything, is just sitting down and talking to him. And a lot of guys are like that. Payton and Eli are the same way. It's just anytime you can, pick those guys' brains and just kind of stand in their shoes and see what they went through, and just if you can pick up on any one thing, that's a win in the conversation.
Yeah, pretty clear that he picked his brain on every sort of thing. And then there was another question that was asked about when you talk to Brees and Manning, both Mannings, Eli and Payton, since he mentioned both of those guys. Is it more of X's and O's, or is it more of like how to lead and philosophical? And Bo answered that and said, well, it's more philosophical when you're talking to these guys. Not when you're talking to Drew Brees, though, in my opinion, because I do think when it comes to Peyton Manning, Peyton he knows everything, but he doesn't know Peyton's offense, and he doesn't know how Sean operates, and he doesn't know how this offense operates. There's only one guy that he can go to pick the brain of exactly how this offense operates, and he went to him for 4 or 5 days, and that is Drew Brees. So if you heard that one, I do think he treated this meeting different than he would with any other quarterback that he would talk to, because Drew is the master.
100%. Drew was the master. I mean, one of the most impressive things that I saw Drew do when I played with him in New Orleans is that Saturday morning walkthrough. So Saturday morning walkthrough, Drew would have the receivers come out there, walk through certain routes. Then we would walk through as a team, and then everybody would leave the indoor practice facility and Drew would start at the 1 yard line and go to the opposite 1 yard line and go through every single play, all of the progressions. 1, 2, 3, 4, check down. 1, 2, 3, check down. And I think you'll start to see Bo incorporate that into his routine. That's one of the things that he mentioned when he answered that question. Routine.
Yeah.
Drew was on time, on target. He's the most accurate passer of all time in this offense, and that's because he knew where everybody was. So I love it, man. This is exciting.
Well, if you love that, there's one more quote from Bo today that I think Broncos country is going to absolutely love, and I want to talk about that quote after I give a shout out to our friends over at Toyota, where I kid you not, yesterday on the drive from Broncos training camp to the DNVR bar to do this show, I saw a not named car brand driving, and it had a bumper sticker on it that said, "I wish I never got rid of my Toyota." That's the biggest compliment that you can give a car right there. Is like when you move on.
You should take a picture
car.
of that.
I know, I should have, but I was a safe driver. Didn't pick up my phone there. Let's just say it was a car that Garrett Bowles would definitely not drive. He threw one car company way under the bus in OTAs on the podium, and that car company is the presenting sponsor of Broncos training camp.
Really?
So yeah, Broncos didn't love that, but you can just trust his bumper sticker right there. Don't get rid of your Toyota. And if you're looking for a new car, make sure to go get a Toyota. It'll be the best decision you make when it comes to the car side of your life. And they have everything. Whether you're looking for trucks, whether you're looking for a 4Runner, whether you're looking for a hybrid, they have got it all over at Toyota. So visit your Front Range Toyota stores at a location near you. AutoNation Toyota in Centennial, Courtland Toyota in Boulder, Groove Toyota in Littleton, Mountain State Toyota in Denver, Stevenson Toyota East in Aurora, and Stevenson Toyota West in Lakewood. Toyota, the official automotive partner of the NFL and the official vehicle of DNVR. Let's go places.
Empire Today is awesome. For those of us who spend a lot of time thinking about floors, it's the easy answer. On the way over here, knowing that we were going to be talking about Empire, I was wondering what the best floor would be to go home to today because it's so hot. Decide like a tile would be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was thinking like the hardwood is good, but the tile in the summer, there's nothing like it. Carpet, not great this time of year. If you live somewhere cold, or I bet like if it was like humid, carpet could get kind of gross, I would imagine.
Moldy.
I'm no expert though. The guys over at Empire are experts. They've been doing floors for forever. All they do is floors, so they know exactly what you should be looking for. If you want to check out the floors yourself, you can use their little alternate reality thing where you just put the app up and it'll show you what any floor would look like in the room that you have. A whole bunch of cool stuff, including that you can schedule a free in-home estimate today because some things are just better at home. DNVR listeners can receive a $350 discount when using the promo code DNVR. Yes, you heard right. $350 discount with code DNVR. Restrictions apply. Visit EmpireToday.com/DNVR for full details.
In the Toyota chat, Donald Wilson Jr., sorry, Donald, said, "I enjoy having Bennie." Boy, I like that comment.
I
That is
appreciate
very, very true. We love having Bennie on this show. And if you like having Bennie, hit us with a thumbs up. Helps us a lot. A lot of people tuning in with us. It's a Saturday, and we were able to get Bennie on the show on a weekend. So show him your appreciation for him being on. Hit us with a thumbs up. Like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Okay, let's get to Bo's answer here. So he was given a pretty cool honor award earlier this week. He was named number 64 on the NFL's top 100 just after his rookie season. So Bo was asked, how cool was it to be named on the NFL's top 100 at number 64? And here's what he said.
Well, I'm kind of on both sides with it. I think it's obviously a cool honor for because that's your peers thing. That's guys you play, but at the same time, just the way I think, the way I am motivated, I want to continue to get higher, and not even for the ranking. It doesn't really matter what you're ranked. It's just an internal standard that I have that I want to be the best in the world, and I know there's a lot of guys that I'm competing for that with, and I'm not going to stop until I at least give it my best try.
Want to be the best in the world. That's what you want to hear. From a quarterback that does have some boots on the wall. Is that the saying? Is that right?
No.
Boots on the wall?
Nope.
No. Okay. It
Boots
sounded
on the
right.
ground?
No. Something on the wall. Pins on the wall.
Skins
on the
Yeah,
wall.
like
That's
a hunter.
it.
There we go.
That's what you want to hear from a quarterback
Maybe he's
that has.
like a serial killer. Just Kills guys take their boots.
Takes their boots,
instead of the skin.
So that's what you want to hear from a guy that has done it before, but still, so it's not like he's just a rookie that hasn't done anything in the NFL, that's just talking out of the other side of his mouth. But it's exactly what you want to hear, and I just think, man, that's a great quote.
Does it scare you a little bit? Him being ranked at 64 because, the top 100 players are ranked by other players.
Yep.
And Henry and I were talking before the show started, and there is no secret about Bo around the NFL.
Yep.
And how good he is.
Yep.
When I hear him answer that question, I love the fact that he wants to be the best in the world, but I don't want it to change who he is in terms of his progression from year 1 to year 2. Don't try to be better than Patrick Mahomes out there. When we go play at Kansas City, win the game. Don't try to be like, oh, I want to be the best player out here. Tom Brady, not the most talented quarterback. Well, he won the games. If I have to throw the check down to the running back 18 times to win, I'll do that. So I love that Bo got ranked at 64 and that he's top 100. I think the NFL understands what type of talent the players, and they respect him, and they respect how competitive he is. And they know, with Sean, he's only going to get better. But when I hear that, I want to be the best in the world. Don't go to Brett Favre and start throwing picks and, just going for it all the time.
That is interesting. So the entire press conference with Bo today was really interesting because he was saying a lot of stuff, and typically he's pretty reserved. Today, though, saying things like, I want to be the best in the world, or talking about building toward a championship, all those sorts of things. Press conferences sometimes can be a little bit lame and boring. You don't really learn anything. Not today's. Until you had said that part, I hadn't really thought of it that way. Because he talked about, last year as a rookie, you just don't want to look like an idiot. And this year you get to go out there and try to actually look a lot better than an idiot. But the way you put that I don't know, it gets me thinking, because back at Auburn, that was the big complaint, was that he was going out there and trying to make superhero plays, and it was leading to disaster often. You go into the hyper strict offense, everything is very planned out at Oregon. There isn't a lot of creativity in what you do there, and it kind of gets some of that out of him. And last year, there was some concern that you could go back to the interceptions, back to some of those crazy plays when you come out of an offense where it is just, you do this, or it's one read, you have to do this. Now that this year he's a little bit more off the leash, I wonder if you start to see that. And honestly, if
I don't think he's off the leash.
Is the leash a little bit looser?
For right now. And for training camp.
Okay.
Yes, I think Sean is not going to, especially in the first couple weeks, tell Bo not to throw across his body across the field.
And we saw it yesterday. And like you're saying, don't try to be Mahomes.
Yeah.
You see that throw yesterday, it's who's that look like? It's I don't know, either Mahomes or Aaron Rodgers.
But to be fair,
Sean will rein that in.
He's not doing it play in and play out. And in fact, today, the practice that we saw, there was the deepest play that he had, the deepest pass he had was a 15-yard pass to Evan Ingram, which, by the way, was complete. But like I said, it was a lot of checkdowns. It was a lot of short passes. The one that he had to Vele where the wide receiver turned the wrong direction, that was 5 yards down the field. There were so many plays within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage. So it's not like he's saying, they think I'm the real deal. Let me just go be Patrick Mahomes and Brett Favre and be launching the ball. So far, it's all good indications on that. His brain isn't way bigger now, or his head isn't way bigger.
And I'm just throwing this out there as caution.
That's fair.
Because I'm taking myself back to wanting to be the best in the world, and you put so much pressure on yourself that you don't play to the ability that you want to play to. And I think Bo's progression this year, we want to see better play. We don't want to see him go, what did he throw, 29 touchdowns last year?
Yep.
We don't need 55. We don't need you to break Payton's record.
I would take it, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I would, too.
Even if it came with a few more picks.
But 35 touchdowns, that'd be incredible.
Be a heck of a year.
Going from year 1 to year 2. So I'm excited about his confidence, but and also he has that mindset, and I think Sean, the balance of him answering that question like that and the balance of having Sean as a coach, Sean will rein him in and be like, hey, check the ball down, or make the right play here. We don't need interceptions. We have an incredible defense. Don't go out there and lose the game because you want to be the hero and you want to be the best in the world. that one game that New England had where they went to Buffalo and they passed the ball twice.
Yep.
If we have to win a game like that, you all right with that, or do you want to be the best in the world?
Right.
Totally.
Let's go win the game.
Yeah.
Other quotes that Bo had today, he said he said he had a great quote to Henry's point about Bo having a really good press conference today. He said he has a fear that he's not going to be good enough or prepared enough for his teammates, and that's what constantly drives him. And so I think he means it in terms of winning, not doing enough for his teammates to win. So
healthy pressure.
Yeah, I know, but it is interesting to think about, again, from that other perspective of like being driven by fear. At first you hear it and you're like, okay, this guy's locked in. He sounded to me very confident, but it is a challenge going into year 2 when there are expectations. And I think, even going back to last year, the biggest complaint I had was that he didn't always set his feet. There were a lot of throws where he'd be on the run. He led the NFL in on the run passing yards last year, which is a good thing to be able to do, but it came with some misses because there are opportunities to not do that. Now you live with it because he's ripping the ball into tight windows. He's making plays on third downs in the red zone because he's scrambling, making plays himself. But there is a line with that. And if you're hitting on enough of him, I think that he could even lean further that way. I think there's room in his game to be more creative, to go and try to create more plays because the results were so good last year. And there's a real part of me that wants to see him hit that line. If he's an NFL quarterback for another dozen years, at some point, I think it's healthy for him to go and push himself to try to do things that don't work out and then rein it in from there. Because if you aren't testing those limits, you don't know where those limits are. Right?
Have you seen who's an example of that?
I think, Josh Allen probably isn't an example of exactly that because his was just chaos because there was no like starting point. Oh, I can do this and I can push it. I would say, Patrick Mahomes, when he makes a mistake, the mistake is he's on the run and that's why he misses the throw.
Yeah.
And you still see a couple of those. You live with it because that's what he's so great at. And I bet if you were to look back, there would be a season in there, and maybe it's even these past 2 seasons, really, where he has erred a little bit too far that way. Because the numbers are down, the interceptions are up a little bit, at least compared to some of the other stuff. I'm not sure. Yeah. I wonder if Aaron Rodgers at some point maybe had that before he tapered back into like perennial MVP Aaron Rodgers. He was out there throwing a couple more interceptions, and then he cut back to like the 4 interception season.
Yeah.
Bad moon is saying that Jordan Love, which is kind of a good
could be what Jordan Love did last year.
Yeah.
No, give me Bo over Jordan.
Well, yes, give me Bo
for
but
sure.
Just like, was that what happened?
So I really want to dive into what Bennie saw from the receivers yesterday because I don't think there's anyone in the world that's going to have better analysis of what's going on in a very, very key position, and also hear about your conversation with Vance Joseph. And before we do that, I just want to make sure that we hit this on the show today, too. Damani Leech talked to the media before practice, the Broncos president. And of course, he was asked a lot about the stadium. And he said that the Broncos haven't made a decision on the stadium. He mentioned that their Aurora, Denver, and Lone Tree are all possibilities still. When asked about Burnham Yard, he said, we haven't made a decision on where the stadium is. But the most interesting thing that came out of this, I think, which kind of gives the most news from his press conference is he said the one thing that they know is they have the lease at Empower Field where it is right now till 2030. So that is kind of shaping their conversation on when a new stadium will be. Where
would you like to see it?
Where they've bought $150 million of land in Denver, Burnham Yard. It's like right off of
Traffic is terrible right there.
Yeah, it is. But but it's in Denver though. So do you want out of the city?
So I'm not from here, so it is not that big of a deal for me to see if the stadium went to Lone Tree or Aurora. Yeah. Like that wouldn't bother me, but I'm also not a native, so I'm always going to appeal to Broncos fans and what they want. Yeah. But our infrastructure is terrible right there. If they put the stadium right there, traffic already sucks going to the game, and it's going to suck even more if you build the stadium right there. You build it out in Lone Tree. I mean, you guys have been to Jerry's World?
Mm-hmm. No.
You haven't been to Jerry's World? So it's not in Dallas. It's in Arlington.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But you have all of the real estate out there. You have all of these restaurants and bars and things like that. You get 120,000 people in the stadium, and then you could have 50,000 people out. Right. And I think that's the type of atmosphere that they are looking for, is how many Broncos, the McGregor Square thing is incredible. So, I'm just excited for the new stadium when they do it, but who knows?
Yeah.
I think if I could pick anywhere, I'd just leave it right where it is because I think it's a nice blend of all of that. I think that
where it is.
Yeah,
right.
like you can just build. Honestly, where the old Mile High was, just build next to it. When it's ready, you move in. Because it's like a 20-minute walk downtown. That's what my family always does. Yeah. The fact that like you could build the like bar infrastructure and all that out with the new stadium. But there's something nice about just saying like, hey, we like these bars. They aren't like brand new, like, oh, it's $15 for a beer because this is the Broncos stadium next to the, it's this nice dive bar that's always been right there, and it's 15 minutes, 20 minutes to walk there.
Yeah, we can dive into this later, but more so of how the Walton Penners would think about it from a business standpoint and owning all of the real estate and leasing it back to people. I mean, they're business-minded people, and they have an incredible business empire. So they're not thinking about the dive bar.
Yep.
They're thinking about owning all the real estate. Bars. Yeah, their own bars and leasing it back to people. I mean, they're
totally.
They're super business-minded. So.
And another business thing that they've got going on, they're building the new training facility, and Damani did say that it's going to be done May of 2026, so just right on schedule. That means training camp. They'll be in the new building before mandatory minicamp. They'll be in the new building, and so maybe they'll have a hill built for fans for next training camp. And the one other thing that I think you guys are going to be interested in, guys and gals are going to be interested in, the uniform schedule is dropping soon, according to Damani, and he said there's going to be way more uniform combinations this year. I think that really is going to excite fans, so stay on the lookout for that. Okay, let's dive in to what Bennie has learned out there at camp. And really quick, before we do that, just want to give you a reminder that we've got the DNVR Broncos tailgate tier of diehard fandom going on over at thednvr.com/intro right now. The cool thing with the tailgate tier, if you are in the base tier right now, you can upgrade to the tailgate tier for the difference in price, so you don't have to pay the full price. Just upgrade for what you have left, and you'll get a free shirt right away. You'll get a free shirt regardless of if you're new or an existing diehard already. It's $89.99 for the intro offer, and just with the 2 Broncos tailgate tickets you're going to get, that's $140 value right there. If you're going to go to a Broncos game, you want to make sure that you go to a tailgate of ours. It's an awesome experience right before a game. And again, you're going to get that free shirt. $140 value just for that. Plus, you're getting all of our training camp coverage this year over at thednvr.com. Plus, our season coverage, free agency coverage, not just for Broncos, but Nuggets, Avs, Rockies, Rams, Buffs, everything we cover over at thednvr.com. So go to thednvr.com/intro to get this offer. Okay, Mr. Wide Receiver Expert, what'd you learn yesterday?
Well, what I learned from the receiver perspective, number one, Sean, I said this at the beginning of the show, Sean really wants the receivers to get in and out of the huddle faster so Bo can actually see the play clock, get the motions and the shifts. He also stopped practice for a motion in a shift. So receivers got to get in and out of the huddle. I also saw that we clearly know that Courtland and Evan are the first 2 targets. And then everybody else is competing after that. Marvin Mims looks like he has his football confidence. The way he was getting in and out of breaks, he catches the ball super confident. He knows how to set up his blocks. Do I think he's the wide receiver number 2 in terms of catches? Not necessarily. I think he's that mini joker right behind Evan in terms of all the things that he can do. That is not a knock on him, but he can play in and out of the backfield. He can do the jet sweeps. He can go deep. But I saw him catch like an 18-yard curl yesterday in traffic. I thought that was super impressive. Henry and I were talking about it, and Zach, I called you before practice today to watch out for this, but
I did.
They are trying to figure out who is going to be that second receiver in terms of right after Courtland. So you would see Troy Franklin in there with Pat Bryant. So Bo either has Troy Franklin as the number 1 option or Pat Bryant as the number 2 option in terms of how they're getting the reps. So if one is covered, then, okay, Pat should be open or Troy should be open, and we saw Troy have a really big day. Troy Franklin's speed is unmatched out there.
Yeah.
Like, Marvin's fast, but Troy has, like, a different gear with quick feet and just the way he can get on top of a DB's toes. Like, DBs have to respect him, and they have to respect his speed, and this is something that we'll break down next week in the film session here at the bar. But the 4 or 5 plays that I have from Troy Franklin, there's nobody around him because they cannot keep up with him. So if he can catch the ball and be consistent with his hands, I think he can emerge as that number 2 guy. But the question that I have right now is, could he be a 65 catch guy? That's what I would want to see as a wide receiver too. I think Vele is the best route runner out of the group. And when I say best route runner, that doesn't mean he's the best receiver. Like, he is the smoothest receiver in and out of the breaks. He just knows how to cut. He knows how to plant. And I would put Pat Bryant right after that. I mean, he looks, number one, he looks like a man out there.
Yes, he does.
Like, he looks like a grown man. Like, he looks like somebody who played 4 years of college.
Yeah.
Great feet at the top, in and out of his breaks, and catches the ball with his hands. Doesn't always create the separation that I'd like to see. This is early on, so I am not freaking out about it, but I'd like to see a little bit more separation, not necessarily at the line of scrimmage, but at the top of his routes. But I think that's something Sean can also design and play with, because that's something that he did with Michael Thomas, is that, okay, he's not the fastest guy, but I can help him create some separation by lining up him in the slot, getting him to move with motion. But, yeah, Pat, I mean, he catches the ball with his hands, strong hands. Vele looked great. Mims looks good. Troy Franklin, though, is the one I'm the most excited about because of how his speed. He just has an incredible speed dynamic. I mean, that burner, that's the route that he caught yesterday going towards the weight room. That's a burner route. So it's like a pylon. So, you're running into the hashes and then you're taking it towards the pylon. I mean, the DB, good luck. But making sure I don't see him as just a supernatural ball catcher. Yet. So I think confidence is going to be huge for him. But yeah, Sean is trying to figure it out. And you can see the way he's pairing everybody in terms of the reps that they're getting to see, all right, who's going to create the separation.
I love that. And you're going to like hearing this about Troy Franklin. He made not a burner catch today in 7-on-7s with Jarrett Stidham. I know it's 7-on-7, so not the real thing, but he made a nice catch in the middle of the field for a touchdown from Jarrett Stidham, kind of working in traffic, and he used his hands and caught the ball. So it was good to see, because it's like, okay, is he a one sort of thing guy, like he's just a burner, or can he develop his game even more so when he's on the field it's not a tell? And so far I've liked the steps I've seen. Obviously need to continue to see him happen, but I like that after a really good day yesterday, he put together a nice day today as well.
Yeah. I mean, that one, so that's against Jaquan. That was man coverage. And it's one of those plays in 7-on-7s where you're like, the pressure might have gotten there. Like, it took an extra second. But for Troy Franklin, that means an extra second of sprint speed against a cornerback who's slower. Guess what? He's coming free across the middle of the field because he has time to get free like that. I think, like you said, we talked about it yesterday, but the out route he caught yesterday, that's not something that he did at all. Like, I'm not sure he had a single catch on one of those. I know 6.6% of his routes, of his targets, were on throws on outbreaking routes that were past the line of scrimmage. So very rarely did they even ask him to go do that. The fact that you see that from him, you're like, oh, you can add that to your game. I think you're right when you say he's the one you're most excited about. I did the top 20 prospect rankings for the Broncos this offseason, which you guys should go check out at DNVR.com. And I struggled with the order to put the receivers in. But the answer is still, like, Troy is your best receiver prospect.
Yep.
Like, you drafted him 102. You look at the guys who are drafted 92 to 112 in the past decade. Like, he's ahead of the top half just in pure production before you even factor in the touchdown in the postseason. And he was the youngest of the group because he was only 21 years old. Like, you look at him beating Jahdae Barron yesterday on the out route, 14 months younger than Jahdae Barron. Like, it just takes that time to develop. He still could really be a star, and to see what we've seen the past couple of days, it's exciting.
Is Pat Bryant included in that?
Yeah.
Like, in that?
Yeah.
Wasn't Pat drafted before him?
Slightly before. But I think what it came down to was, for Troy, it's stock up. Like, from last year, if you draft that guy at 102 and you look at what you expect from a guy you draft at 102, he clearly overachieved, and he overachieved despite the fact that he was the youngest of the 23 receivers in the group. And so when you have those two steps, like, that's what makes it such a tough decision between those two. I think that's why I landed that way.
I think I probably would go Pat above him.
In terms of prospect?
Yeah.
I mean, it's tough.
I think Pat
catches that ball like a man.
I think the respect that Sean has for Pat, every day Sean's asked a question that we get to talk to him. He's asked a question about Pat, and he talks about him like a young Michael Thomas. Like, I'm sure he talked about a young Michael Thomas. And it helps that he's made the comparison between the two. And another thing that I've noticed, so there's trust from Sean. I've just noticed that it doesn't matter what quarterback, if it's Sam Ehlinger, Jarrett Stidham, or Bo Nix throwing the ball, they seem to gravitate toward Pat Bryant. That's what I've noticed early on. in camp, it's like if he's on the field, there's a slightly higher chance that he's going to get the ball than every other receiver. And to me, it reminds me of how Bo felt about Court last year. Like, I know I can trust you. You're going to be where the ball should be. You're going to make that catch, outside of the one with Chris Abrams-Drain swatting it away from him today. But for the most part, it feels like he has that vet presence out there, and he's not a vet, which says something about him, I think.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see, like, I would love to be a fly on the wall and just see how he's retaining information in the meetings. And then where the volume gets, I'd love to see how Sean will move Pat around, and also Troy Franklin. I think the competition between those two is going to bring out the best, and I think that's why you're seeing Troy come into training camp like this, is because that is an eye opener for him, Marvin Mims, and the rest of the receiver group as well. Is that okay? They drafted another receiver. We've been drafting receivers every year. Okay, so Sean's looking for something, and Sean, I was talking to Marcus Colston about this. You know, Sean has a type. You know, he likes bigger receivers, big body receivers. Colston was a big receiver. Court's a big receiver. Vele's a big receiver. Pat Bryant's a big receiver.
Evan Ingram's a big receiver.
Tight
end receiver.
But receiver, because Sean likes your quarterback, especially if this was more so for Drew than it is Bo. Drew is a shorter quarterback, so he needs the quarterback to be able to see the receiver running in and out of these breaks. So it's going to be interesting to see. I think the quarterbacks definitely gravitate towards Pat because of how he catches the ball. And I know I've been talking about this a lot, but I mean, he has really strong hands. You saw this at Illinois in terms of running a dig route. Dig route is the scariest route to run as a receiver. Pat Bryant runs that route really well, runs through the ball. Not a lot of receivers can just run through a dig route. So a dig route is 18 to 20 yards, and you're breaking in. That's a hard route to run and then stay flat as a receiver and then run through the ball and catch it with your hands. And I think Pat does that really well. And it's going to be interesting to see, you know, how these reps all fold out. And it's going to be interesting to see now. I want to see Pat next week with pads on and how he tries to get away from man-to-man and how he does that. I also want to see Troy Franklin with pads on now. This is going to be a big preseason for these two in terms of the separation they create. They play man-to-man in preseason. There is no cover 2. There's no cover 3. Every team plays man-to-man. It's super vanilla. That's how you figure out who can make this team and who can play and who cannot play. So we're going to see plenty of opportunities. These guys are going to have go balls, out routes, posts, quick slants. So we're going to see this is going to happen in the next couple of weeks, but I want to see that progression for them to continue to get in and out of the break, in and out of the huddle, and doing things the right way.
Pads on Monday. I can't wait. Benny, final thing before we get to a super chat. We're going to get to you. I promise. Tell us what you learned from Vance.
Vance was just, well, number one, he's very excited about, my former head coach, had Vance for a year. So number one, it's always just good to reconnect with him and glad that he's back in Denver. But he just talked about the depth that they have on defense and the versatility that they have and how they can just fly around. Like, I mean, they are literally picking off from where they left off last year. You add Hufanga and Greenlaw, that makes them play even faster. But then what type of player and person Jahdae Barron is in terms of how he's picked up the defensive knowledge already. I mean, they're already a couple weeks ahead of schedule in terms of installation and plays. And then what Vance was talking about in terms of the offense, he said, we got a real special guy in Bo. Obviously, he's saying that because he gets to see Bo every single day. But he loves the weapons that we have. And what Evan Ingram does, he's like, how do you cover that guy?
Yep.
Who do you put on him? And that's what, we were talking about because I was telling him, I had a chance to play with Evan in New York. And he was like, yeah, he's a mismatch nightmare because you can't cover him with a linebacker as hard. You can't put a corner on him too small. Yep. So what do? And the man zone tells that Bo will be able to get this year. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but Sean's got Evan a couple yards away from the tackle, not hand in the dirt, lined up as a receiver.
Yep.
Then he's got him inside on the bunch. He's got him at the point on the bunch and then on the outside of the bunch. But Sean got mad about the shift in the motion yesterday in practice, and he stopped it. You need that shift. You need that motion. That tells Bo if it's man or zone. One of the things that Patrick Mahomes and what they have in Kansas City is that they do that and they line Travis Kelce up like that a lot to get man zone tells. They put him in motion every time. You can see if a linebacker's on him or the corner's on him, and that just helps. Okay, now I know this is my man side or this is my zone side. So It's going to be exciting.
You just took us to school in the final 5 minutes of this show. Absolutely incredible. We're going to continue the conversation on overtime. Go to thednvr.com to hit the super chat that we have and pick Benny's brain to end this show. So thednvr.com to continue this conversation overtime. Henry, did you have something to piggyback off that with?
Not that I can say publicly. Unfortunately, there are secrets in there.
Interesting.
Yes.
That's incredible. Just at everything you said is awesome. And for Vance to tell you that about Bo, that wasn't Vance at the podium with cameras and he has to put on the company line and he has to support his quarterback regardless of what his name is, and he's just saying that. For him to tell you that says a lot to me. Yeah. Just about how he is special, because we know Sean thinks that, but is it just Sean? No, it's even guys on the defensive side of the ball that have to go up against him every day 100%. In training camp. So 100%. I absolutely love that. And I think our guy Dean wants to hear from you, Benny. Dean Machine 5592 says, Benny, this is really cool. Benny, I was wearing your jersey when you caught Payton's last pass. What are your predictions on us versus teams like the Eagles or Ravens? So kind of the top teams.
Dean, I really appreciate the support, and he wants to know what are our predictions versus the Ravens and Eagles.
Yep.
I mean, I think, Dean, right now it's just too early to tell in terms of that. Like, I got to see us come out the first couple weeks. The first couple weeks will tell me everything. What I will say about the Eagles is that they have the best roster in football. They are that when you talk about depth, that's depth all over the place.
Totally.
They got 2 wide receiver ones. They got a good tight end. They got the best running back, tied for the best running back in football, and they have the number 1 offensive line. And then everybody that they have on defense, and just the way they draft and the way they play special teams is just very different, you know. So, I mean, that's an incredible roster right there. So, week 1 and week 2 will tell me a lot. But what I will say, and I talked about this yesterday with Philip Lindsay at practice, we won't get ran over by that team. Sean takes meetings like that and games like that super personal. And that's where his best coaching comes out. Okay, hey, they do this really well. Well, we'll take this out. Or we need to keep our offense on the field to give our defense a rest. Or the way Vance will play against that. We have enough talent to stop their offense for sure. We have to, but we can't turn the ball over against them. But our defense, head to head, it's a toss-up in terms of, like, you know, we can put so much pressure on Jalen Hurts and we can turn him into whoever we want to turn him into. Lamar Jackson, that's a different story.
Yep.
We saw that last year.
Yeah, he's just an anomaly, and I don't know how you account for that. Greenlaw brings a lot, but there's just there's a factor that Lamar Jackson has as a quarterback that you just can't account for. He is he still plays like it's Little League. Like, he's just he's the fastest guy out there, and he touches the ball every play. But I still think we got the best secondary. I mean, I don't think they don't have any receiver over there that scares me.
Nope.
The little guy, little slot guy, yeah, he's super quick, but not really worried about that. I could see us playing a lot of zone against them. DeAndre Hopkins, obviously, that's Pat strapping him. Easy. Yeah. That's easy work. I mean, he did that last week, so last year in Kansas City. So it's going to be interesting. I think those games are going to be very close for us. I think they can go either way right now, and I'm only saying that because we haven't played any games yet.
Yeah. I think, like you said, like, you have the talent on defense to stop them. Like, the defense is proven. The defense belongs in games like that. But when you look at last year, the biggest reason they weren't able to win games like that, you know, you have the 2 wins against playoff teams. There's the final game against the Chiefs, so they didn't play as starters. You have the Bucs at the beginning of the year. The cleanup on the bad teams. To beat those good teams, you have to have playmakers on offense make plays in those games, because it just felt like it was so hard to get offense going consistently, where, you know, defense can hold those teams to like 17, 24 points, whatever it may be. Can the offense go out there and actually, you know, find plays that get you into good situations, but also sustain drives? And both of those 2 things are still kind of questions, I think. And with Evan Ingram, is that enough? Does Evan Ingram give you like a 6 for 100 day, and you're just like, oh, offense was fine, we can also put up 24? This can be a back and forth game instead of like defense needs to hold him, defense needs to hold him, defense needs to hold him. And it's like, oh, you got the breakthrough right there. There's 7 points. Can you find another 7 to win it?
Evan Ingram brings that first and second down mentality. This is what I learned from Payton, is that we never wanted to really get to third down. We wanted to get to first down, second down, first down, second down. Evan Ingram playing in the middle of the field and having that separation on sail routes or option routes, along with, you know, Pat Bryant and Troy and all those guys. I think that's where, we got to get in first down, second down, first down. But when we think about games like the Ravens last year, if Troy Franklin catches that big box fade where there's not, he beat the defender by 6 yards, that's a totally different game because of the momentum shift. We were playing with them.
Yep.
Like we were there.
Yep.
That, it was there in the first half. But if you hit those big plays, Henry, to your point, then the Ravens start to question themselves. We haven't gotten the good teams to question themselves yet. We got Kansas City to do it last year. We should have won that game, but I think we'll see more of that this year.
I just think Evan Ingram, people are so excited about him, and I still don't think they're putting the bar high enough for what he's going to be for this offense. I think he's going to lead the Broncos in 2 of the 3 major receiving categories in terms of catches, yards, and or touchdowns. I think he's going to lead them in yards and touchdowns. I think he's going to be that.
Yards?
Yards.
No chance.
Yep. Yep. You said that 1,500 for Courtland, which we're going to talk about still.
Yeah. Catches, yes.
Catches, yes.
No, I think it's going to be the opposite.
We're going to have a real problem with our offense if he's leading us in yards.
No, because I think it's going to be.
Has there ever been a tight end that's led the team in yards?
Travis Kelce.
He led them in yards?
Yeah.
Was their offense good?
Yeah.
No way.
Tyreek
Hill. Tyreek Hill.
Probably a year or
In
2
those
after
years.
Tyreek Hill left. I think Travis did lead him in yards, and they were still pretty
They
darn
won the Super
good.
Bowl, but Patrick Mahomes hasn't played well in 2 years.
Tyreek's been gone for what, 3 years?
3 years.
3 or 4 years?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't want.
This is going to be good. Rob Gronkowski with the Patriots?
Never led them in receiving.
Never?
Yards? No.
Yeah.
What was his best season? 800 yards? He was always a big time play guy.
He's
was
a
never
1,000-yard guy.
No way.
Tight ends rack up yards now, Benny. There was like 6,000 yard, or I guess maybe 2 years ago there was like 5 or 6,000 yard tight end receivers.
There were a couple, Laporta, McBride, and Bowers last year.
Yep.
Bowers is a savage.
Yeah. Bowers kind of Ingram-like.
Yeah. He's
Like,
he's a receiver.
Exactly, and just kind of like the way they're built, like the parts of the field where it's like he can just get open there. Yeah.
Gronk
Benny,
also had a 4,000-yard receiving.
What?
Gronk had 4,000-yard receiving seasons.
Okay.
There we go.
And one for 1,300.
There we go.
But he never led them in receiving.
Did it lead the team?
Let me check. That's
What year is that? And I bet Travis
2011.
Kelce did receive. See, I think Evan
2011?
Ingram's this special.
You're not winning a Super Bowl with your tight end leading you in yards.
What did Travis Kelce do? I bet he did.
Patrick Mahomes, Superman, man.
Bo Nix. So this is gonna be fun. We gotta have this conversation about what you think Ingram's gonna do and what you think Court's gonna do, because you've said some awesome things.
85
about
catches for Evan for 800 yards.
I mean, I would definitely sign up for that. I think it's gonna be. Maybe you're right about 85 catches.
Yeah. Courtland, 69 catches for 1,400 yards, 1,500 yards.
Woo! I love it. You hear what you got for us?
So Gronk didn't lead that year. Wes Welker did with 1,500 yards. But right behind him, Aaron Hernandez with 900 yards.
Insane.
And Chad Johnson on that same team with
That's
276 yards.
Insane.
Chad Johnson.
Man, fun conversation today. Oh, we got another super chat from our guy Cade, who says, Drew Sanders update. No update yet. Sean told us after practice that it is not an Achilles, which is really good. We hope it's not a serious injury. We'll likely know by Monday. So tomorrow the Broncos have an off day. I should say the players have an off day. I don't think coaches get off days.
Neither of those players.
In training. Yeah, that's a really good point. They're not officially on the practice field tomorrow. How does that sound?
Yeah, it sounds good for them.
Yeah.
Especially with pads coming.
Oh, I bet. So Monday pads are on, which means we're going to be back on Monday next week. Big week, Monday through Saturday. They're practicing. That's the grind of training camp with pads being on too.
I don't miss that.
I bet you don't. I bet, and staying in the team hotel and
That's right.
all of that stuff. Oh, we got another super chat from our guy Dean Machine again, who says, Benny, here we go. Benny, what's your favorite Super Bowl story?
Probably when
My
you won.
favorite Super Bowl story.
2-point conversion.
The 2-point conversion thing, it was like a full circle moment. So my first catch was in Detroit, back at home, and Payton called the wrong play. He called alley to F. We don't run tunnel screens to the third or fourth receiver. We throw them to Demarius. But he called it and he threw it to me. He's like, I think that's to you. So he threw me a ball, catch a first down. fast forward to the Super Bowl.
That's
we're
big
running,
time.
We're running the 2-point conversion. He's like, all right, give me a chance to get the laces. Like, I'm coming to you. Like, just that was like a full circle moment of like trust and like things that we built over the year. But yeah, favorite Super Bowl story would just be Payton threw like a little party when we first landed in San Fran and got the offense together, and like, we're all taking pictures and just sharing a moment. And then Brock Osweiler got a party bus to head downtown San Francisco because, he was on the younger side, we were on the younger side, so we wanted to go out.
Yeah.
And you see Payton run out of the hotel with his suit on and gets on the party bus with us, and we are playing, all types of Future and Drake, and he's nodding his head, and then he puts on Rocky Top and some of his country music, and it was one of the most incredible moments. But that's how close we were. That's my favorite Super Bowl moment, just watching him run out of the hotel with his suit and tie on. Like, we're going to dinner downtown San Francisco. Like, this is not a corporate event, but type of guy he was. That was fun.
That is awesome. I for sure thought you were going to say Payton got on the bus with a suit and tie and said, we're not going out right now.
He was with us.
That is awesome. Benny, love your perspective for those Super Bowl 50 stories, and then also for what you see at practice right now and what you know about Sean Payton's offense to talk to Vance. It is awesome. Henry, love that you're rock and rolling with us. You got something?
Real quick on screens. They tried 2 screens to Jaquan McMillan's side today. Blew them both up. Tried one to his side yesterday. Blew it up. All the notes from today's practice that we didn't get to today going to be up on the website, including all that stuff. So be on the lookout for that.
And one more thing.
Fake screen's coming.
What?
Yes.
Fake screen's coming.
Oh,
Yes.
I love it.
So obviously he's just studying, the offense right now, and there's certain things like that. They're about to get him.
I love it. I love it. One final thing. 6 days from now, Benny is going to host a film room for diehards at the bar. So if you want to come to this, make sure to go to thednvr.com/intro to become a diehard and then be here Friday night, where it's going to be a great time. That's going to do it. Make sure to have a great weekend. Hit us with a thumbs up. We appreciate it. Shout out to everyone for tuning in, and shout out to you guys for being here on a Saturday with me. We'll see you on Monday after the first day of pads.